back to my channel. I've been hesitating for a long time to talk about this topic, which is to talk about the pandemic, and mostly because I didn't want to appear as though I was capitalizing on this issue, and also I didn't want to contribute to the hysteria that was going on. But I did just want to check in with you guys. I know that it might even be a little too late at this point, and I think that maybe everyone hopefully is, you know, coping as best as possible. But I did just want to do a check-in with you guys and see where you're at, and also to let you know how I'm doing, how I'm dealing with this craziness. And for me, I can say that this experience has been just like an up and down roller coaster. There are days where I feel, you know, really good and fine, or at least in the beginning of this whole thing I felt pretty okay with it. And there are some days that I see this as an opportunity to like focus on myself and, you know, to reevaluate where I am and in life, and to get back to things that I've always wanted to do or enjoy doing, for instance like this YouTube. At the same time, it's made me think about what I'm grateful for. For instance, I'm grateful to be able to work still and to have a roof over my head, that all of my relatives are okay, even though the majority of my relatives live along the east coast of the US, particularly in New York. But I know that's not the reality for everyone. And I find myself feeling at times like, what do I have to complain about? But the reality is that this situation has hit us all hard, and I just find myself feeling very emotional, and I don't know why, and feeling more than anything very tired. I'm just very tired for no reason, and I thought this was very strange. I thought that was just like something about myself at this time. But then I did some research on it, and I came across a very interesting article, and I'll try to find the article and link it. But basically this article was saying that during this time it's not surprising to feel very tired, because that's the way that your body responds to stress and to being forced indoors in quarantine. Because they say that humans are like houseplants with more complicated emotions. So we do need sunlight, we need to be out in nature. We also need that social interaction, and the deprivation of all those things really weighs down on our physical and psychological well-being. So if you're feeling down for no reason, if you're feeling tired for no reason, if you have your highs and lows, that's all completely normal. And so I just wanted to let you guys know that you're not alone with that. And I'm not going to pretend that I have all the answers. And so this video is not really like a how-to video. I don't want to pretend that, you know, I have the best way to deal with this, because I really don't. And I don't even know there is a best way to deal with this, or one way to deal with this. But I do have generally some things that I've kept in mind during this process that I think more or less helps to put things into perspective. So the first tip is to listen to your body. If you feel like sleeping in the middle of the day, if you feel like, you know, you just want to go for a walk, or you just want to stay in and rest, like, just listen to your body and do whatever your body wants you to do. We don't have the same energy levels, we don't have the same mental capacity that we typically do. So it's important to be kind to yourself during this time, and just realize that if you're only able to accomplish maybe half of the things that you want to accomplish that day, that week, that's okay. And on that note, don't compare yourself to others. I know that everyone is dealing with this differently, but I do think that maybe the one thing that we have in common is that we are all being affected by this, but also we are all feeling all kinds of emotions. And you know, just because people are posting certain things on social media doesn't mean that that's how they're feeling all the time. And even myself, I like to focus my social media contents around positive things, things that I want to see, things that make me happy. But that doesn't mean that I don't have my highs and my lows, doesn't mean that I don't take naps during the day. So take what you see on social media with a grain of salt. Know that you don't have to compare yourself to anyone. Just be kind to yourself and do what works best for you. So my third tip is to stay informed, of course, of what's going on in the news, but don't obsess about it. Don't spend your whole day listening to the news, you know, every waking hour, because that's just going to like bog you down and just keep you hyper focused on what's going on. And at this point, we pretty much know what's going on. I mean, we know we have to wash our hands, we know we have to cover our face with a mask, you know we need to keep our social distance. We know the protocol that we need to take, so just adhere to the protocol, stay home and stay informed, but don't obsess over it. Fill the rest of your time with things that make you happy. Definitely go out for walks in nature.
Get some physical exercise if you can.
Feed your mind with the other things that make you feel more positive and motivated. My tip number 4 is to get back to your goals slowly. So whatever was your normal routine before this pandemic, or things that you aspire to do in this new year, revisit those goals. And even if it's tackling one thing at a time, then so be it. But slowly but surely start refocusing your attention from this pandemic to your life. Or if you weren't really sure, now we have plenty of time to reflect on ourselves and what we want in life. And I just want to say that keeping a healthy lifestyle is definitely important in terms of eating well and working out and all of those good things. Keeping, you know, what you feed into your thoughts positive. But know that this is time is a crazy time. It's a roller coaster, and so it's okay. You know, one day you might eat healthy, the next day you might not. One day you'll work out, then the next week you won't work out. That's totally fine, as long as you're just trying to get back to some kind of balance or create some balance in your life. And my final tip is to know that you'll be okay. You have not made it this far in life for things to just fall apart. You can do this. Everyone around the world is dealing with this as well in some capacity. We're all going to get through this. So have faith that you will get through this. I'm not a religious person, although I am spiritual, but I do love this serenity prayer that I know many of you guys probably have heard, but I wanted to share this serenity prayer because I just think it's such a good prayer at this moment. And if praying is your thing, then it's something you can definitely do at this time. Meditating is also good to clear the mind. And the serenity prayer goes, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. So we're in this together. There's nothing we can do about that. And there's nothing we can do about quarantine. But we can have the courage to adapt to this situation. And we can also learn to accept that this is where we are right now. We're going to get through this, and just to let go of the anxiety as best as we can, because that really is not going to help us. And on that note, I did want to recommend 2 books that I think are very appropriate for this time. The first book, I don't have a copy on hand, but I will share a link here for you guys. And it is called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And I love this book. I read it a few years ago, and it literally transformed the way that I just view problems and situations in life. And I think it was ahead of the curve in terms of talking about mindfulness and being in the present moment. And it's just such an amazing book about basically bringing our attention to the present moment. And in this present moment, like right here, where we are right now in this video, however many minutes into this video you're watching, there are no real problems, hopefully, for you. Like in this very moment, for many of us, we are okay. We worry often about what's going to happen in the future or what's happened in the past, but all we have is right now. And if we can just focus on that, I think it'll help to, one, alleviate some of our fears about the future, because that's a construct and it hasn't happened yet, and let go of the past because there's nothing we can do about that. And at the same time, it can still help us be proactive. We can decide to take decisive actions that can help to, mitigate some fears that we have in the future. So I want you to breathe, inhale and exhale, and know that everything is going to be fine. Another book I wanted to recommend to you guys, and I actually have this from the library that I can't return at this time, but it is called Emotional First Aid. You guys probably can't see this very well, but this was a book that was recommended to me, and this book says practical strategies for treating failure, rejection, guilt, and other everyday psychological injuries. And this book, what I love about it is that it tackles all the main emotional triggers that we have, from rejection, loneliness, loss and trauma, rumination, failure, low self-esteem. And it's written by a psychologist who has a TED Talk. I'll try to share the TED Talk with you guys. And it goes on to providing the science behind how these emotions, how these emotional injuries have psychological and even physical effects in our lives, in our bodies, in the short term and the long term. And it also prescribes practical strategies that you can use to tackle each of those different emotional triggers. And I think, without the absence of a social network, well, besides social media, we might be at a loss for that human connection and being able to really seek the help that we need. So definitely it's important to stay physically healthy and safe, but also we can't forget our emotional and psychological well-being. So whether or not you've actually experienced the loss of a loved one, I think this is a time where, we are really going through a lot of emotional and psychological and maybe even physical pain, and it's just such a good time to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, be patient with yourself and others, and know that we're going to get through this. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. I love you guys, and I'm sending you guys all a virtual hug. Thank you so much for watching, and yeah, I look forward to producing more videos for you guys and hopefully inspiring you guys to continue to live your best life in spite of all this craziness. But today I just wanted to have a real one-on-one. Love you guys. Bye. Mwah.